Hey everybody, welcome to Plant and Grow Night. It's Saturday, August 16th, 2025. About to eat on Makeovers. So see what's possible indoors if you are growing your own food with LED grow lights. That includes soil, that includes hydroponics, lots of different ways of growing here. There's really no right or wrong way to do it. It's just really efficient, effective, and great to grow your food indoors. So my name is Clift. I am a local community grower for Planter, and we are at indoorgardenmarket.com. You can see it right down there. This is part of our indoor food growing training program. So if you haven't checked this out yet, definitely look at the training program QR code. I'm going to throw it up right here. Just scan that, and that will take you to our website. You can sign in with an email and you will get reminders about all of our events. This is indoor food growing year round. So add lights to a soil or hydroponic system and you can grow as much food as you want inside of your indoor space. Closet, basement, spare room, take over part of the house that you never use and start to grow your own food. It's a really empowering way of doing things for yourself that you probably never thought was possible. So today we're actually going to cover a few things. We'll talk about growing forward versus starting over in the indoor food growing space, and also different ways of expanding your indoor garden. So you may have started with a little small box or something, growing 4 to 8 plants, quickly realizing how fresh it is, how great it is to cook with these fresh greens that are not stale or extremely expensive from the local grocery stores. Or maybe they're out of season at the local farmers markets. Lots of great reasons to do this. And we're going to show you how to get the mid-cycle reset and to expand. So plan for expansion once you get started. First thing though, what I'd like to invite you to do is, if you're not growing yet, is to imagine a corner of your house, or maybe a space in the basement, or perhaps someplace in a room that you don't use that much. Imagine what it would be like to transform that into a food growing space with light year round. So fresh tomatoes in January, greens all the time from that system. That's what we're talking about here. It's extremely practical. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of that. So the first one is actually shared with us on Reddit. This is at key_Linux or links_9860 on reddit.com. They have a Let Pot Max. Let Pot Max holds up to 22 greens and herbs, or 2 large tomato plants or cucumber plants, dwarf size fruiting plants. Big system. It's got lots of bells and whistles, built-in lights. So it looks like they've actually taken over a portion of their countertop, converted that to food production. I do want to note though, you might see there's actually a dwarf tomato plant in there. That space with the plug a little bit small for that dwarf tomato plant. The Let Pot Max can grow dwarf tomatoes and cucumbers, but you do need a little bit bigger space, and you want to have only maximum two of those plants in the system at one time, just because they consume a lot of nutrients. They physically take up a lot of space. They're big plants, but this one looks to be doing okay. I don't see any flowers yet or any fruits, but doesn't mean that they couldn't pop those up in the next week or two. It's definitely a possibility. So thanks for sharing there at Key Links 9860 on reddit.com. Next up, this is an arrow garden that grows, looks like 6 different pods. It's pretty small. You will be able to grow basil and herbs of those kinds. I would really stick with basil and herbs, generally speaking, for these systems. There's just not enough space to grow out to take advantage of the really growing abilities of these hydroponic systems. So this system is excellent for culinary herbs. Snip off as you need it and cook with it, or fresh basil, throw it on top of your pasta. It's always better to have fresh if you can get it, and these systems allow you to get it. Arrow Garden, as you noted, has built-in light right there, and only 6 pods. They've got lots of other sizes of these systems. I think they go up to 20 pods maybe, but lots of great options there. So another great example about how this person basically took a portion of what looks like a living room, maybe looks kind of like a living room window over there. See a roof in the back there. They converted that at a time when also noted that there's snow on the roof over there. So they're getting fresh greens and vegetables year round using this setup. So really exciting. That was at CAPWN 1980 on also in Reddit. Lots of interesting systems and going on in Reddit. The last one that we're going to feature is at that structure 1618 on Reddit. This is actually a new system. It's the Garden 2.0 or the apartment version of a garden. The GARDYN garden actually normally has 32 plants. It's a big system. That's going to produce 3 to 5 salads, full-size salads per week. When it's 100% production here, you can see that this person has actually put a lot of nice plants in it. They've got some sunflowers, dwarf sunflowers growing in there as well. It's a dynamic system, can grow a ton of different foods, and so certainly recommended. 16 plants being kind of the minimum you'd want to grow if you were actually going to do serious food production indoors. Would recommend 32 plants if you can do that, but some of the systems, like the garden system, is quite expensive by comparison. But this is a great starter. So if you've never grown before, it's pretty amazing to grow like that. So keep in mind, you can always share your indoor food garden with lights at hashtag #MyIndoorFoodGarden on all the social channels. We are watching for your stories. We'd like to share them on our lives, our Plant or Grow Night lives every week. This is a new thing that people are doing. So you may not have seen it before. That's okay. Technology really wasn't in place to do this affordably until a few years ago. You may also have noted that grocery store prices, especially for fresh greens and vegetables, just keeps on going up. So these systems are extremely compatible and competitive and cheaper than the other systems, the other ways of getting your greens. So if you would like to start to learn how to do this, I'm going to put our QR code up so that we've got that for you to check out. Free indoor food growing training program at the QR code. Join us anytime. We do live events 4 times per month for indoor food growing, as well as tips and tricks and all sorts of starter systems that will get you growing. The goal here is to eventually get you up to the point where you are growing 75 pounds of greens, herbs, and fruiting plants inside of your living space. It might sound like that takes a lot of space. It does not. It's because we are growing vertically, you can actually do that in less space than a coffee table with LED grow lights. It's very exciting. It's very healthy. There are many things you can grow you will never find in a grocery store or a farmer's market, but you are empowering yourself with this new technology to do that. So we're here to help you out. My name's Cliff if you're just joining us, and this is part of the Plant or Grow Night or our free indoor food growing training program down there. Or if you just want more information about us, you can scan that QR code up on the upper right there. So let's keep on moving. Great examples of how people are adapting their indoor living space and growing food. Any food they can initially, but then eventually expanding out, which is what we're talking about. So for the purpose of expansion, there's a number of ways you can do this. If you are a soil grower, you can do stacking bins. You can do under table trays or hanging planters, depending on the kind of plant there might be. And you can also mix different kinds of plants together inside of your pots. So it's possible to grow, a medley of different kinds of greens and herbs together. For hydroponics growers, really easy to add on some let pot units like that. You scan the QR code, you can check out some additional ones. They've got different sizes, so if you don't want to do a 22 plant size, you could do something more akin to a 12. Excellent for herbs and greens and easy to do. Mason jar Kratky tends to be really easy to do as well, although not quite as effective. It doesn't grow quite as fast as some of the oxygenated systems like a let pot or a grow mesh or anything else. And then, of course, if you really wanted to dive straight in and fully designate a space in your home, you can use something like a grow tent. That is enclosed. It's got reflective material so that the light's inside. That light is not escaping out into the room and essentially being wasted. That light is reverberating, hitting those walls, and then basically shining right back onto the plants. So it gets you a lot of efficiencies that way. So many different ways of doing these kinds of activities. No right or wrong way. If you're not comfortable with hydroponics, got soil. In fact, I've gotten some of the best results with tomatoes, dwarf cucumbers, and a lot of your fruiting plants. I've gotten great results with those kinds of plants indoors with LED grow lights. So those are perfectly fine to start with. The greens and herbs are much more productive in a hydroponic system. And I found that the soil environment with added nutrients is better for a lot of your fruiting plants. So lots of efficiencies here. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's really, really great. A couple of the things you can add on, depending on the size of your space, you might need carts, trays to catch water underneath it. Obviously, additional lights are helpful, ceiling grow lights, and you can automate your lighting systems using a timer. That timer you see pictured there, standard in pretty much every hardware store, generally doesn't cost very much money, very easy to set up, and it's going to cycle on and off. So your seedlings, you generally want to keep on the light on for 16 to 18 hours and 14 to 16 hours for a lot of your other plants. A little bit more is not going to hurt them. You don't want to keep them on 24 hours, of course. So there's lots of things that can help you as part of this process. If you're growing in an enclosed space, you might want to add a fan for air circulation. That way, your plants are not going to experience mold or any kind of problems from that perspective. So it's a little bit tricky when you start to enclose it, like those grow tents can be an issue. But generally speaking, you're going to get great results no matter how you do it. So thanks so much for joining us here on the Planter Grow Night. We've got more info up here. Scan the QR code, and would love to hear from anybody who's watching tonight. What are you going to try new this month? Is there a new kind of basil you'd like to try, or maybe you'd like to try some new kinds of greens? Start a new kind of tomato or cucumber, dwarf tomatoes or cucumbers. Those take about 3 months to get up to harvest size, and then you can harvest from them continuously at least 3 months beyond that time. So over the course of a year, a dwarf tomato or cucumber is going to give you 2 full crop cycles indoors, where you're lucky if you're going to get 1 outdoors. Or maybe you're a really good gardener, great, keep doing that, but you can also do indoors. So it's pretty amazing, helpful, and definitely share with us Indoor Garden Market on social networks. Use the hashtag #MyIndoorFoodGarden so that we can begin to collect these stories. Hopefully it's inspirational for you, inspirational for other people to start doing these activities. Really exciting. And if you haven't done so already, I'm just going to throw this QR code up one more time here. Free growing training program for indoor growers. So you can start anytime. No need to wait for April. You can start right now. 30 days you can be harvesting. Simple as that. Choose soil, choose a hydroponic system, and get growing. You don't need to wait any longer. You can take control of your food supply and start to grow things for yourself. So really hope you're going to join us in the free indoor food growing training program. And we talked a lot about different supplies here. The Let Pot was mentioned, but also if you just need general supplies, HTG Supply is a great source for that. They have lots of containers and soil and lights and pretty much everything you might need. You can also go to indoorgardenmarket.com. We have lots of materials for you there, but lots of great resources. More information about us at this QR code, supplies at the QR code over there. And that concludes our Planter Grow Night for the week. Really happy that you could join us. Please drop any comments, questions that you have, and we'll be happy to address them. Share what you're growing, share what you'd like to grow. That's really our challenge for this week. Next week, we're going to be resetting our routine. So cleaning, troubleshooting, and upgrades. So we're going to talk about different systems, like what's the maintenance required for these things. how do you need to work with them in order to get the maximum amount of efficiency. That's going to be Saturday, August 23rd, same time, 8 p.m. And really hope you can see it, that we'll see you there. Not to beat a dead horse, but we do have the free indoor food growing training program. Scan this QR code, look for the link in the comments section as well. Get growing, begin to experience food freedom for your family. And we really hope to see you in one of the live classes and hope to see you share something you've grown. So thanks so much for everything. Signing off here. This is Cliff with Indoor Garden Market, and we'll see you at the next